Well, guys, for those of you who don't know, I am part of oneupkeyboards.com. If you haven't already been to oneupkeyboards.com, you should go there now. Check it out. This is the LJD61up, which is a beautiful name. Let me just explain for those of you who haven't heard of it before. L is for Leander. JD is for the designer JD. This is the JD61 because it has 61 keys. 1up because of oneupkeyboards.com. And this is the stainless steel version. So inside, this is almost what it would be like if it was properly packaged. Normally, Steph does this sort of thing, but because we're only just using it internally, this wasn't properly done. These are Gateron browns with one Gateron black in there. This is the top plate. This is the PCB. This is the bottom plate. And these are the chattels. Is that what do you call them? What? Chattels? Yeah, stabs, standoffs, feet, sticker.
Packet of extras.
It's the packet of extras. So let's settle in to making the LJD61up in stainless steel. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this is part of a stab. A stabilizer. They're called stabs by the people who call them stabs. And there's a part that we're going to trim off. That part is this. Let me just make sure that I'm showing it right. It's this one with a little hook on it. And on the other side, it also has a little hook on it. That one. Okay, so it's just going to be left with the two thick legs. We're going to trim off the thin legs. So you ready? I'm just going to go and cut it. And then I flatten out the bottom. And I'm going to cut the other one. And I'm also going to flatten out the bottom of this if it needs it. It doesn't seem to.
Where are you from?
Okay, and there. Now you can see there's a little piece here. That doesn't normally happen, but there is a little piece there, so I was just trimming it off. When you make your own keyboard, you get to, as Invisibility just said, you get to customize and detail every single part of the keyboard, which means not only do you get to pick the switch and get to choose the type of PCB that you're using, but it means you also get to spend time on the details. And for me, the details include the stabilizers. These stabilizers are, I think, very good. These are cherry-based stabs. And these cherry stabs are very good, but when you clip these little feet off the bottom, they become even better. They lose a little bit of the mushiness that they have, and they can move more freely inside of their little housing, which makes them better overall. So again, spending the time and the detail of doing that definitely helps improve the quality of the keyboard that you'll get at the end. So not only are you spending more and getting a more personalized keyboard, but by spending a little bit of time, you improve the keyboard overall. But the other thing that that you get to do when you're doing this is you can lube. Put a little bit of lube in the corner of these. Just so they flow even smoother. And again, that's another benefit of making your own boards is the time you spend on the details ends up more rewarding in the end. This is Krytox. This is the, what is this? 205, GPL 205. I buy this stuff on Amazon. There's probably a link in the About section below for it. And look at, I'm just putting these like tiny little nodules on there. There's two sides to this. You see, there's one side that has like, I call this like a building. It's like a hotel because it's got a bottom and a top floor. You see what I'm saying? And then the other side only has one entrance. See what I'm saying? That only has one. This side has two. It's the two side that goes to the front. The two side that goes to the front like this. Then what you do is take one of your stabilizer wires and you put it in on the bottom floor. I'm trying to put it in on the bottom floor here. Goes in on the bottom floor, and then what you do is you push it through the lube into that corner, just like that. There you go. Same thing with another one. Hotel at the front. I know that's a crazy way to describe it. Hotel at the front. Can you see it there? The two. No, really, it's not that easy to see, is it? There you go. The two floor at the front. Two floor at the front. And that's going to go in like that once it's inside of here. So this, push on there. Like that. All lubed up. Nice. Ready. Now this little detail is something that I do to make it easier to insert the stabs. What I'm doing here is just rounding some of the edges. These are stabilizers, and just so we all know that we're all being clear here, backspace is up in this corner, enter is in that corner, shift is in this. You see what I mean? If I was doing this wrong way roundsies, then I'd be like, where's my enter key? This is right way roundsies, this is up. Okay? And I'm just pushing these stabilizers into place. You can see that went into place. And here I'm going to go to my action cam. Oh, I'm going to try to go to my action cam. Okay, stabilizers are in. In the middle layer, I'm using the GH60 as my PCB. And I just wanted to check, I just want to make sure that there are, that these are orientated in the right direction. So just so we're clear, this line goes at the top and the bump goes at the bottom. So what I like to do is do the first 4 and put them in place. Not a major mistake, a minor mistake, but let's talk about it. Okay, first thing is, if you wanted to hand wire this board, this is a hand wire board. So what you can do is you can line all these up and run diodes along the rows and then wires along the columns and then create your own matrix and then put that into a PJRC teensy. So instead of using one of these boards, what you could do is you could build it in such a way that you just use that microcontroller. Then you program it yourself. That is, so to my...
is a microcontroller.
The teensy is just a microcontroller. It's just this all on its own. Now, I personally think that that is the coolest way to build a board, but it's not what I'm going to be doing today. Today, I'm going to be using the much quicker method and easier method of building it with the PCB. Now, I've just made a tiny little mistake, and I just want to explain what that mistake is and then how to fix it. So what I've actually done here is these switches are called PCB mount switches. And what a PCB mount switch is, let me just go to the action cam so I can show you, is it has these tiny little plastic legs. You see these little legs? So these legs on the side are meant to just grab hold of the PCB. Let me show you on the PCB. You see there's these two metal rounds. In here go these two metal pieces. Do you see that? Just like that. Now, if you wanted to PCB mount, that's to say you didn't have a metal plate to go on top, these two side pieces, this plastic piece here, goes into this little hole, and there's one on the other side too. This adds extra stability to the switch. But because we're using a plate, and we're not just going into the PCB, it means that we're having to push and really jam that bad boy in. But the truth is we don't need it. So I'm going to cut them off. So if you're buying switches for yourself, you don't need PCB mount switches if you're going to be using a plate, which, let's be honest, most people are. Some people prefer them because it just gives you that flexibility. So whatever project you've got next, you can do. But having said all that, I just need to cut all of mine off. That'll make it much easier as we progress with the PCB. Okay, here we go. Just got to clip them all off. All I'm doing is just clipping off those little plastic pieces. You know what? I've just spilled the rest of this bag out, but really what I should do is not do that, and I should push in these first four so that then I can just concentrate on the rest afterwards. I am going to do that. Okay. Look, so I've put the four corners in. Now that I've put the four corners in, I'm going to rest the PCB in against it. Just like that. There we go. It deeply slots into place. And now I'm going to turn on the soldering iron. Just make sure that I got 2 prongs through, 2 prongs through, 2 prongs through, 2 prongs through. That's everybody. So let's turn on the soldering iron and get ready for the next. And I'm going to switch over to the solder cam. Solder cam, here we go. What I like to do, I'm going to turn this over like this, and I'm going to put the standoffs in there. I like to do that now so that I can push against the board. You've almost seen it complete, and you can see why I'm doing this. Because what I'm going to do is push the switches in. And this way, I'm not pushing them against the desk, I'm pushing them against the air. In the next step, I'm going to be placing the switches in place here. Okay, so let's just have a quick look and talk this through before I get into it. But for those of you who weren't here when I did it earlier, I've already mounted 4 and already soldered them in on the other side. They're already soldered in place. What I'm going to do, all I need to do is line these 2 pegs up into the holes here. So all I do, just line them up, press it in securely, and I'm done. Now again, if I had those pegs still in, I would be pushing the board down. I'd have to flip it over, squeeze it together, make sure it was always real tight, but I don't need to do that. So I'm just going to go to the action cam here. Again, these 2 pins fit into the 2 holes. 2 holes at the bottom, like those 2 holes there. And all I'm going to do is just line that up, make sure the switch goes straight down and in, and it just goes straight on like that. Boom. And again. Look, you see these little pegs that are sticking through? You just want to make sure that 2 of them have made it through on all of them. Sometimes you'll find that 1 of them didn't make it through, and that's why I flipped the board over. I thought that 1 of them might not have made it on one particular switch, so I just wanted to check that one. Look, this just grabs the 2 sides of the switch, so you can easily pull the switch out. This makes life a lot easier than trying to remove a switch if something goes wrong if you don't have one of these. And they're only a couple of bucks off our website. I highly, highly recommend it. You know, I got this black switch here. I'm going to take the black switch and I'm going to modify it. I'm going to open up the black switch. I'm going to do that with these tweezers that I've got. I'm going to show what I did, but with the other switch. So the black switch is known for being a stiffer spring than the brown. But for the space bar, what I wanted to do was use a stiffer spring. And the reason is just that my thumb is much stronger than my finger. So look, here's what I did. I opened up the housing using some tweezers. Look, I got in under these 2 pegs and pulled it open. So you can see the bottom half is separated from the top half. This is now a brown switch. A brown spring, rather. But look, all you do is take it. Look, you see that? And I'd slide that in there like this. And then after that, just pop the housing back on it. It's time to start soldering. So look, if you took an LED, you see the LEDs are here. If you took an LED, they go into these 2 little holes. I got to zoom in to show you. You see these 2 holes are what the switches are in, and then those 2 holes up there, the plus and minus, that's where the LED goes. So these are the switch holes. These are the holes for those little plastic things that I cut off, and those are the holes for the LEDs. And all you do is just take these, slide them through the switch, through into there, and then solder them in. Not hard to do. I'm just not doing it. Guys, don't forget to press like on the channel. Don't forget to press like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, cool beans. Okay, so for those of you who missed what we were talking about earlier, you are watching the LJD61up keyboard come together. It's from 1UP Keyboards. I've just finished soldering in brown Gateron switches. These are a Cherry MX clone switch. They're very much like the Cherry MX, but they use different plastic, which means that they're actually smoother, and they're widely preferred, if you ask the community, to the Cherry MX. So it's a real enthusiast board, this one. This one is the LJD61up. This is a community-made keyboard from 1UP Keyboards. This one is made of stainless steel. And the soldering portion is done, or at least I believe it to be done. So I'm just flipping it over. I've still got this fan on my desk, so I'm just going to pull that out. Okay, it's time to start prepping the base. Now, the base has a couple little bits to it. One of them are these custom aluminum milled legs. Don't forget to press subscribe. Check the About sections for relevant links to everything you've seen on the stream today. Don't forget, if you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee in the About section below, or support the channel on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who does that. Gab, I'm looking at you, buddy. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. What else can I tell you? I don't know. I'm going to go grab some keycaps. I got some in the other room. Just give me 1 second. Sure, these are the PBT ones that you can buy on our website. And as you can see, they're a thick PBT. Can you see that? I mean, that is a thick PBT keycap. One-up keyboards, the LJD61up, stainless steel, featuring PBT black side printed keycaps, brown switches, and a fully programmable GH60 Satan PCB. You ready for a typing test? Here we go. Typing test. What do you do after that? What do you do after that? I don't even know. I don't even know.